everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Everything You Need to Know About Google My Business. Firstly, thank you for joining us today. My name is Courtney Sandor and I'm the events coordinator here at Realise Business. Realise Business is a leading social enterprise empowering people to successfully run a business. Through our events, we bring our advisors, presenters and members together to share their expert knowledge in the interest of helping each other to learn and grow to their highest potential. So we're partnered with the Northern Beaches Council to provide this digital solutions program. And today is our final session of a 6-part series that we have brought to you over the past month. So we're still offering the opportunity for you to receive one-to-one business advice for free through the federal government's ASBAS program. So ASBAS Digital Solutions provides small businesses with low-cost, high-quality advice on a range of digital solutions to help them meet their business needs and grow their digital abilities. So if you'd like to book in a session with one of our advisors, you can simply recall the office or reply back to a thank you email you'll receive in coming days. So before I pass over to our presenter, Andrew, I'm just going to run through a couple of housekeeping points. So this session is going to run a little bit different to how we've run the past. So it's going to be more of a webinar style. So Andrew's going to run through his presentation and then we'll have Q&A at the end. All attendees are on mute for this session, but you can still ask questions and you can do this via the chat box. Let us know if you're having any audio or video issues, and this session is being recorded. So everyone that's registered will receive a copy of this in coming days. So now without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Andrew Thorn from DigitalMaas.
Awesome. Thanks, Courtney. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you, everyone. And thanks for coming along today to listen to our presentation about Google My Business. So I'm just going to share my screen. Max, are we good? Can everyone see my screen? Good to go?
Yeah. Yes, I can see your screen.
Awesome. Getting some thumbs up, which is awesome. Yeah. So first of all, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate you taking time out. I think this is the 6th or 7th one we've done with Realise Business, and you know, it's awesome to be able to meet so many small business owners and sort of teach you what I know about locations. I'm definitely an expert when it comes to location optimization. I've been doing it for about 8 years now. And I hope that the time that you invested with me today, by the end of the presentation, I at least want you to take away one thing that you can implement immediately in your business and hopefully get you some additional results. So let me just take you through a bit of an agenda for today. We're going to talk about what is Google My Business. First and foremost, it's really important to actually show you what it is. You've probably interacted with it, but you may not know what it actually is. I'm going to take you through the basics. Then I'm going to get into some more advanced topics on how you can actually use it for your business. It's changed a lot during COVID. Lots of new functionality now available. So I'm going to take you through exactly what you can use for your business. Most business owners that I speak to don't know if they're doing a great job. So one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an audit framework that allows you to actually go and audit your locations, whether you just be a single location business or if you have a couple of different locations. I'm going to take you through some of the features that you should be using and why. You don't have to use them all, but it's good to know that they're there. And as you can see by the animation on the right-hand side, it's a lot more than just a business directory now. You can do a lot more with it. You can put up products, you can put up services. You can even have people messaging you now directly from your Google My Business page. So I'm going to take you through some of that. We're going to talk about what's next for Google My Business and what I believe is the future of where we're going. So some really good content. So let's jump right in. A little bit about me. I'm the founder and CEO of a business called DigitalMaas. We're effectively a local marketing platform. We have around 28,000 businesses now in the platform in Australia and New Zealand, but we do have customers across the globe. So we're in 62 different countries. We've won some awards for our innovation in our software. So yeah, essentially what we do is we optimize locations to have our customers make more money from their locations. It's exactly why we exist. I've done numerous online businesses. I think this is my 7th or 8th business. I've sold Ike boots online. I've done literally everything when it comes to online businesses. And I've been doing SEO or digital marketing since about 2005. So, but I think not only myself, but all the team here has a true love for growing small business. And I think that will show through in everything that we talk about today. These are some of our customers. So just so you see, lots of them are multi-location customers. We actually, all of our customers are in the enterprise space. So we have, if you've got lots and lots of locations, our software is really useful. But today's going to center around optimizing a single location and a small business particularly, and how you can get the most out of it. So first of all, what is Google My Business? And Google My Business is it used to be just a business directory where you could put your name of your business, your opening hours, your description of your business, but it's very much more turned into a destination where you can really optimize your profile of your business. It allows people to connect with you really easily. So if you've got phone number, if you've got appointment links, if you've got even messaging now, you can actually message directly from the Google My Business page. You want to make it super easy for people to be able to connect with you, and a Google My Business page does that incredibly well. You also want to be able to stand out amongst your competitors. If someone types in best accountant near me, best restaurant near me, anything like that, chances are it's going to show a Maps result. So it's a really good way of you being able to stand out amongst your competitors. Where do they show up? Where do Google My Business pages show up? They show up in 2 different places. It's actually now grown to 3 with the most recent change, but I'll take you through the major ones. Google search. So I'm sure that most of you on the call today have done a Google search. Effectively, 1 in 3 searches on Google actually shows a map listing from Google My Business. So the search results are very localized now. And even if you don't put in a suburb in your search query, you're probably going to get a local result. Lots more people connecting to local businesses. And it's a real big focus right now as people are very dispersed across the state. Before, a lot of the commerce used to happen in the CBD areas. With a lot more people working from home now, you've seen some real big rises in things like suburban coffee shops, suburbs that particularly wouldn't have much of a trade during, say, Monday to Friday, and maybe more of a Saturday and Sunday trade, are now starting to trade 7 days a week because people are actually much more in their suburbs. So how can you take advantage of that using Google My Business? The second place that it shows up is in the Google Maps app. So if any of you have ever used the Maps app to get directions or anything like that, all of that data that's inside Google Maps is fed from Google My Business. So your hours, your description, the actual pin placement of where you are, it all comes from Google My Business. So it's a really important part. Now, if there's any businesses who are on the call today from the travel vertical, Google My Business is also heavily integrated into Google's new travel offering, which is google.com/travel, where effectively they're pulling together flights, accommodation, daily deals into one single place, even attractions and events. So if you haven't seen it yet, go and have a look and see it. And all of that information comes from Google My Business. So it's really important. If you're in the travel vertical, you're in the experience vertical or anything like that, you want to make sure that your Google My Business listing is up to date. So this is what it looks like. So I've just typed a coffee shop near me, and you can see this is sort of the CBD of Sydney. What you'll find is that when you do a search like this, there's generally 3 listings that show up in this is called the Maps pack. You sometimes will have 4 listings show up if someone is running advertising to actually get ads in Maps. But most of the time you'll see 3 listings. Now, a recent development with this, we've actually been noticing that certain search terms are actually showing 10 Maps listings instead of 3. So these maps are actually very, very important. Whether there's 3 listings or 10, you need to make sure that you are one of those people listed in that result. And I'm going to teach you some things that I know actually can get you into that Maps result really, really quickly. But as you can see from this search result, we've got 3 big red icons, right? We've got some blue icons, and then we've got some red dots on the map, right? So what that means is when you type in coffee shop near me, there's more than just 3 coffee shops in the CBD of Sydney. So if you actually click on the listing, you'll actually see how many there is. So but this is the difference between Google Maps and Google Search. So Google Search will only show 3 listings here, whereas Google Maps can show them all. And you can see the competition for coffee shops in the Sydney CBD is very, very strong. with lots and lots of coffee shops available. But reality is these 3 listings, there's one here, one there, and one off the screen, is exactly where you need to be as a business. So if you think about the Northern Beaches, DY, Avalon. I used to live up in North Kilco, so I have a very fond appreciation for the Northern Beaches of Sydney. And, you know, if you think about people on the Northern Beaches, probably like to do business with people that are in a close driving distance to them or something like that. So if you're thinking about, if you're a service business or if you're a business on the Northern Beaches, you want to make sure that you're coming up in that maps pack, because if you aren't, the chances are if you're optimizing towards your website, it may actually be quite low and behind the bottom of the page. So you want to make sure that you can get into that listing. And especially most verticals have a lot of competitors in them. So unless you're in something very niche, you probably do have a lot of competitors in your area. So how can you stand out? This has definitely changed since COVID has come. This has definitely changed in terms of how people are doing business. So you can see here that 60% of consumers have changed their mind for the sake of convenience since COVID. Now, I think one of the things, even though we're sort of pretty lucky in New South Wales, Max, who's on the call, he's down in Melbourne. Unfortunately, Max is locked down at the moment. But in New South Wales, we've actually had a pretty good run in terms of this, but I think people's buying behavior has changed in terms of convenience. And what that means is that things like in stock now have grown over 800% from the retail space. Near me searches have grown massively. A lot more people shopping online, a lot more people using delivery options and getting food delivered and groceries delivered. I think the digitization that COVID sort of forced really did ramp up quite considerably over the last 12 months. A lot of people are looking to support local businesses right now. So there's a real push behind supporting local businesses. So there's a lot of the local searchers are actually looking for local results, local businesses that they can support. You can see here 70% of near me searches lead to a visit within 24 hours. This is a Google stat. So it shows that these people are not only searching for local businesses, they're actually really engaged and high intent. So that means that if you do happen to turn up in those searches, you're more than likely going to have someone coming into your location and visiting you quickly, which is a really good thing as well. You can see here there's been a 3 times increase in map searches, 150 times increase in mobile searches, and a 300% increase in open now searches. So your information on maps and on local is really important with such an increase in demand. A lot more people are searching on Google to find information. You need to make sure you're connected there. There's literally not one stat when it comes to local that's gone down in the last 12 months. Everything is increasing. So really important. The other thing that's increasing is mobile devices. So people searching on a mobile device. A lot more people are choosing now to pull out their phone and run a search than pulling out the laptop or things like that. So we're noticing desktop traffic declining and mobile traffic increasing. So, you know, making sure that you have a great mobile experience on your website has been as important as ever before. But sometimes people don't even get to your website. If they're just searching in maps and you come up and they click on your maps listing, they may get your phone number, they may get your address and literally go straight to your business without even ever visiting your website. And we see that quite a fair bit. And I think you'd probably all agree is that we don't really go online anymore. We actually live online. And when I first used to present this slide, it actually used to say 150 times per day people touch their phones. Now it's raised to over 300 times per day. So these individual touch points, and you might be involved in any of these different touch points, you need to meet the user where they are. And where they are is on search and they're mobile. So by having that device and tapping into that demand means that you can really start owning this. And all of it centers around maps, which is why we're putting this webinar together to actually tell you how do you optimize everything possible to go after this increase in demand from a mobile consumer who's looking to make a decision in a really quick way. And that's what we're talking about today. So what is an optimized Google My Business listing? You might say, hey, I've already got one. Let's talk about what I believe to be a optimized Google My Business listing. So first and foremost, before anything, you need to make sure that you're in control of your Google My Business listing. There is a claiming process that you need to go through, and you need to verify that you're the business owner. Now, the purpose of this is that if you don't verify your business owner, potentially your information can be changed without your knowledge. So we want to make sure that first and foremost, you're in control of it and that it's verified. Now, if the best thing to do is run a search for your business name, put a space after it, and then put the suburb that you're in. Best way to actually find your business, and then have a look what you see. What does it look like? Is your phone number correct? Are the opening hours correct? Do you have the right description there? Are the images of your business correct? Do they look okay? Has anyone uploaded any images that you want to take down or don't like? And is your primary category correct? Because that primary category is very, very important. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment. So first of all, make sure it's claimed. If you have a look, when you do run that search, there'll be a button down here that says claim this business. So if you haven't claimed the business, you can click on that button and go through the claiming process. Now, claiming process, you can claim it in a number of different ways. First of all, for them to verify your address, they'll send you out a postcard in the mail to verify that you are actually at that address. When you receive the postcard in the mail, there'll be a PIN number on that postcard. You come back to Google My Business and you enter that PIN number in to verify that you were at that address. There's also some other options that you might be presented with is a phone call. So they'll literally ring your business to verify that, that you are that business owner. The other one is email. So sometimes you might get an email option where they send you an email and they make you verify the email. All of those options, they can take some time. So if you do need some help with this, we, as a Google My Business partner here in Australia, we have some ways of doing this for you faster and much more easier. So if you do have any issues with that, please feel free to chat to the guys in the chat. We might be able to help you with getting that verified for you quickly. The reason why you need to be verified and claimed is that you can't go and change any of this information until that happens. So that's why it's really the first step in the audit. You have to be in control of your page. Now, once you have control of the page, what do you want to be able to change? Well, the first thing is your address. Really, really important. You need to make sure your address is visible and that your PIN is in the right place. A lot of times your address might be correct, your PIN might be in the wrong place, which means people are getting told to go around the corner or the back of the building and things like that. Make sure that's actually in the right place. Make sure your primary category is correct. This primary category is the number one thing that people describe your business as. So if you're a restaurant, make sure it doesn't say something else. Some good examples is we just looked at a petrol station chain of hundreds of petrol stations across the country. And their primary category was gas station, right? Now, gas station is not really how most people would refer to a petrol station in Australia. Most people refer to a petrol station. The locations that had the gas station as the primary category turned up in about 50% fewer searches than the ones that had petrol station. So choosing the correct primary category is a massive reason whether you show up in the search results or not. So if you have it wrong, just by fixing that, you'll see more traffic to your Google My Business pages. The other thing that you want to do is make sure there's ways of people to get in contact with you. So a link to your website, a link to your phone number, and if you can, enable messaging on your page, because recently, some recent numbers that came in was that 87% of people surveyed prefer to message a business than to call a business. So if you turn on messaging, you will get a small messaging icon here, which then can send messages to your business and your location. You'll receive those messages on your phone on the Google My Business app and also the Google Maps app. So you can reply to those messages. You need to reply to them pretty quickly because how quickly you reply, obviously like normal customer service. If you get back to customers quickly, you've got a high chance of closing the deal, but don't leave them sitting there for days on end before you reply. Make sure you reply quickly because underneath your icon, it will actually have a message on how fast you respond. Now, you don't have to respond in minutes, but you probably should at least respond within the hour if possible. So really important. Make sure your opening hours are correct. We see this all too often where the opening hours are incorrect. Google will not show a business that's closed to a searcher. So if I say coffee shop near me, it's not going to show me any options that are closed, because really what help would that be if I'm looking for coffee shop? Open now is massively booming. People are obviously looking at, with so many hours changing, closing, different people operating on different terms. Make sure you've got the right hours. That can be the difference between having lots more traffic and not. The other thing you can do is update business attributes describing your business. So inside of this Google My Business panel, depending on what industry you're in, you'll be given some additional questions about your business. For instance, do you have a wheelchair accessible entrance? Do you have free Wi-Fi? What payment methods do you accept? What's your COVID safety policy? Do your staff get temperature checks? Are they required to wear masks? There's actually, depending on which vertical you're in, there's actually a lot of questions that you can ask about your business. And each time you answer those questions, it will show up on your Google My Business page. So if someone's worried about coming to your location, but all your staff are wearing masks, you can put that on there. Or if customers are required to wear masks, you can also put that on there as well. So really, really important. Payment methods, another really important one. So go in there and have a look and see which attributes you have available to be able to do that. The other thing that most people aren't using is products and services. So one of the things with products and services, and specifically services, you can add services to your Google My Business page. Now, there's a thing called justifications, and what justifications are the reason Google chooses to show your listing in the maps pack, right? So let's say, for instance, you're a immigration lawyer, right? And you have a whole range of immigration law services. By putting them on your Google My Business services list, when someone types in one of those specialist services, it will match with the services that it knows about your business, and it will show up in the listing. And underneath the listing, it will actually say, provides immigration services, right? So it's a really great way of tying it together. If you're a plumber, you can put all your services there, block pipes, drains, stuff like that. Whatever industry you're in, I'm sure there's a list of services you provide. If you don't provide services, there's probably a list of products that you stock. You can also upload those products onto your Google My Business page as well. So services and products, really, really important. It's one of the reasons that they'll choose to show your listing above your competitors. So when I told you one of the things that you can do that you may not be doing right now, that's one of them. So make sure that you are putting your services onto your Google My Business page. If it was this example here, if it was real estate education and training, we could put training for real estate agent brokers and all the different services that they have. So really, really important. If you have booking and appointment links, you can also put them onto your Google My Business page. So if you've got a link where people can make an appointment with you, a Calendly link or anything like that, put those appointment links on, because most people are thinking that they need to make an appointment nowadays rather than just turning up to your business. So if you've got an appointment link, you can add that. It's also a second place people can do to get in contact with you. So that's the first part. The second part is making sure your hours are updated. Now, one of the things that most people don't do is they don't update their public holiday hours. Now, what happens if you don't update your public holiday hours is that inside the search results, it will come up with a big orange message saying the public holiday may affect these hours, right? Now, if you're a supermarket, you're a cafe, you're a hair salon, you're any of those types of businesses, and people want to try and go and get a service on a public holiday, you want to make sure you tell people that you're open on that day if you are in fact open. So rather than leaving it to chance, you can specify whether you're open or closed. Or if you are closed and I turn up to your location and you haven't told me that you're closed, it's almost a guaranteed 1-star review, because I'm going to be like, why didn't they tell me that they're closed? So a really important part. If you're open, make sure you tell your customers you're open. If you're closed, make sure you tell them that you're closed. The other one that you want to make sure that you've got is, if you have been in business for a really long time, make sure you put the date your business opened onto your Google My Business page. The reason why is that in certain verticals, especially professional services, accountants, lawyers, people like that, underneath your Google My Business listing, it will actually say has been in business for over 15 years. Now, if you think about that from a trust perspective, I see a listing that doesn't have a date, and I see your listing and it says you've got 200 reviews and you've been open for 10 years. I'm going to go do business with the person that looks experienced. If you're a landscaper, if you're a pool designer, if you're any of those sort of verticals, really, really important. Make sure you have the date your business open. Also, make sure you upload photos of your staff and your products and your projects and things that you've worked on. It's not just taking a photo of your logo and putting it up on Google My Business. You can upload all of these different images, because what people do is they buy with their eyes. They actually will decide whether they want to do business with you before they even attend your business location. So you want to make sure that you have really great imagery when it comes to that. You can also add frequently asked questions to your Google My Business page. So if you're a doctor and you need a referral, if someone asks, do you do free appraisals, free quotes, anything like that, you can answer a lot of those questions. If you say, do you accept Amex, you can answer that inside your Google My Business page. So frequently asked questions are a really good way of being able to take them from your website, put them onto your Google My Business page, and be able to answer those questions. So really, really important. As you can see by the search result on the right-hand side, if someone asks a question of Google in the search results, and if Google's confident with the answer, it will actually answer it in the search results. So you can see here, I've said, is the Centerpoint Tower open today? And I've said, yes, it's open from 10 till 8. It knows that because that's powered by Google My Business. So if someone was typing, is your business open today? Google can answer that inside the business. This is obviously really good for things like voice search as well. With a lot more people starting to use Siri and Google Home and stuff like that, a lot of this information can make its way into voice search. So when someone says, hey Siri, is Centerpoint Tower open on Thursday? It can answer that with confidence, with accurate information. The other thing you want to do is, you're not doing this to win any Google My Business awards. This is all about driving meaningful results to your business. So what we want to make sure you're doing is you can keep track of how many times people have come to your location, how many times people are getting driving directions, also how many times people are reviewing your business and what rating they're giving you. So you want to make sure that you're tracking all of this information and you're looking at it regularly so that you can see how this is improving and moving the needle for you. The other thing you can get from Google My Business is you can get the words that people are using to search for you. So you can start to optimize your content around that. So if you have a look here, this is best Mexican restaurant in Sydney. You can have a look and see this particular location coming up. If they jumped into their search, they could actually see what words people are using to find them, that people were actually searching best Mexican restaurant, and here they were coming up. So really important to see the words people are using to search for you. If you're a really well-respected in your industry, maybe you're a child psychologist or you're a professional, your name may be the thing that's triggering your Google My Business page. And that could be the reason why people are searching for you. So you want to make sure that you have that really well optimized towards your name if you're a sort of a single business. The other thing you can do is you can communicate to your customers using a thing called Google Posts. Now, you may or may not have heard of Google Posts, but essentially what Google Posts are is they're a way of you communicating updates to your people on your Google My Business page. So they're very similar to what you'd probably put on Facebook or Instagram. You can have an image, you can have a headline, you can also have a description, and you can even have a call to action button. This call to action button can be book now, learn more, call the business. Really, really important. One of the secrets that I'm going to tell you as part of this, and this is another thing that you should do immediately if you're not already doing it, whatever you put in this headline and this description will massively help you rank in that Maps pack. So if you've got products and services, make sure you're doing a Google post about them, describing them, because the Google post is also a justification of why they would show you in search. And once we get through the presentation, I'll show you some real world examples of where this is being used and why it's choosing to show those listings up. Remember, the whole goal of this is to get your business into that 3-pack for unbranded search terms. So when people aren't searching for your brand, they're just searching for the type of business you are in the area that you look after them. That's the goal with all of these types of stuff. So Google Posts is 100% a massive rankings factor right now. as to whether you turn up in the map or not. So if you're not using them, you're going to miss out. Now, you might say, Andrew, how do you know that? Well, I know that because we have 28,000 locations inside our platform. And we analyze the ones that are actively posting to Google versus the ones that aren't. And the ones that were ranked for more keywords. So this is an example of, with scale, you can see some of this stuff. And if you're not doing it, I highly suggest that you do it, as soon as you possibly can, because it's a really great way. It's also a really great way of just communicating to your customers. So unfortunately, when Melbourne went into lockdown, our platform lit up with all of our customers who had locations in Melbourne communicating to their customers that they were temporarily locked down. They did a Google post. They went in and marked their location as temporarily closed. And, at least if their customer brought up the location, they had a post update showing them exactly what they could and couldn't do with the business due to the restrictions. They had that they were temporarily closed. And they may have even had a link to be able to book online for next week or the week after, or whenever they're going to get back to business as usual. So it's a really great way of being able to communicate with your customers. You could do a range of things here, but generally speaking, you're probably going to put the same content that you're putting across social. You're just going to start putting onto Google My Business. So really important. So what can you do to get started today? The first thing you need to do is go and audit your business. So the first thing I want you to do is go and search for your business name and your location. And I want you to have a look what's there. So have a look at your opening hours, have a look at your website, make sure it's linking to the right pages. There's not broken link or anything like that. Go and check your opening hours. Go and check that run some searches for what people would do to search for your business and where you'd show up. Once you do that, you'll know what you need to work on next. So if your phone number's wrong, go in there and claim it and update it. If your hours are wrong, go in and update it. Go and fix all those things and then measure the increase in performance. So once you've done all those things, go and check your metrics regularly. You can check them once a week and go and make sure that they're improving. You should start to see 10 to 20% week on week improvement once you start making all these changes. Obviously, you'll know if your business is getting busier with leads and customers and all those types of things, but at least you can see where they're all coming from. So really important part. Now, we have software to make this easier for you. So if you want to, you can use our audit tool. All of the things that I just covered there are completely covered in our audit. It's fully automated and it's free. So if you want to, you can use our audit tool. You can edit all of those things inside our platform. So if you want to, you can do this. So it's inside there. I think we'll send you a link to how you can do that. But if you want to, you can use our tool to be able to do that. So let me just show you some practical examples of what this looks like. So if I have a look here, and this is what I was going to show you with this particular example. So this is a very generic term, men's boots in Sydney. And you can see here, we've got lots of ads. So these are all ads. We've got shoe shops over here. We've got all the online retailers, but then you've got the maps listing here. And you've got 3 different businesses that have shown up. You've got Andrew McDonald Shoemaker, you've got Aquila, and you've got Floorshine. Well, Floorshine works with us, right? And we suggested to them that they should start using Google Posts. Remember I said that it's a justification? See how they've got this little blue icon here? This is a Google post. And you can see here, Google is highlighting men's boots because that's what I searched for, right? So they've put men's boots in the actual Google post. And if we open up their listing, you'll actually see the Google post comes up there related to my search. And if I scroll down here on the page, you'll actually see where those posts come up. So they turn up in a clickable carousel like this. You can go left and right. Or if you want to, you can actually click on them and they'll open up in an overlay where you can scroll them, very similar to like an Instagram feed. So a lot of people aren't utilizing this. It's been around for a while, but not a lot of people doing it. But I would suggest to you the main reason you'd want to be using this is because of the keyword ranking justification. And it's not just men's boots. If you go and have a look at our example here, which we use quite a fair bit, you have a look at flu vaccines. So you've got all these different ones coming up there. And then you'll see Bob's Chemist coming up. And then once again, that little blue justification and saying flu shot, right? Now, Bob's Chemist is a small independent pharmacy in Newtown in Sydney. And it's surrounded by competitors, right? And all big name competitors. Like we're not talking small names. There's tons of chemists. They're all around Bob, you know. And this is a real chemist. I actually went there to verify this is a real chemist. And he just is absolutely owning Google Posts. And he's realizing how powerful it is, and he's promoting all of his products through Google Posts. And he's doing an amazing job. So it's a very, very powerful technique. That's what it looks like. If you have a look at this one, I'm just going to type in best accountant in DY. I don't know if there's any accountants on the call today, but we'll hopefully there is. So what I wanted to show you here is these are ads. These 4 are ads. And then immediately below the ads is your maps listing. So most likely in high competitive areas, you'll always probably have 4 people advertising. In this case, you can see that there's 3 locations here, but there's a lot more accountants in DY. So if you have a look, these is how many accountants there are within sort of driving directions of DY. So the question is, if I was not in that 3-pack, so if I just type in best accountants in DY, you can see here that I've got these 3 showing up. I've got a 5-star rating from 3 reviews. I've got a 5-star rating from 2 reviews, and I've got a 5-star rating from 2 reviews here. Because I've used the word best, Google is actually rating it based on reviews. So the justification of why it's showing these 3 is based on the review content. Okay. So if you were going up against that and you were trying to rank for the word best Italian, best anything, you need to make sure that you're actively encouraging your customers to leave you reviews. And the ones that you're getting are actually of a really high value and a high rating and a high velocity. Because if you were trying to break into this particular, if you're an accountant and you were talking to me, maybe you're one of these red dots here, these ones, and you're saying to me, Andrew, how can I get into this 3-pack for that particular keyword? I would tell you that you've got to get more than 4 reviews and they've got to average 5. So pretty simple. 4 of your favorite customers that have a great experience, tell them to leave you a review. And then that's how you break into that particular one. And as you can see here, if we go and have a look at how many there is a lot more, right? There's a lot of independent accountants here, lots more in and around there. And I think what you'll find is that no matter what you type in any of these searches, there's literally going to be 20 or 30 different businesses to choose from. And, there's going to be high competition for each of them. But if you go and have a look at these particular searches, you can know exactly what you need to do. Can you see this blue icon here? This is a review justification. So what that means is that they've actually got best lawyer in their review. That's why they're showing up. So if you typed in a particular service, let's say, for instance, we just went in and had a look at car service in DY. So if you have a look here, this particular car service, all of them have reviews. So you need to make sure that you've actually got review content coming up. But if you have a look here, none of these people I can see are actively using Google Posts. So if you were here, sorry, this one's got some photos, but hasn't actually done many Google Posts. So you want to make sure that if you are doing this, you're starting to communicate to your customers. Remember I was talking about the verification steps? That's what it looks like. So see how it says own this business? You can click that link and it will take you through the claiming process of owning that business. So make sure you've got that there. Question and answers is here. So you can see that there's actually no question and answers on this business. But if we went and had a look at another one of our customers, the Opera Bar in Sydney, which is a really nice place to go and have a drink, you can see that they get a lot. They've got over 128, mostly about what's the best angle to take a photo with the Opera House, but lots of really good questions here that get asked on behalf of this business. So depending on what vertical you're in, you may have a lot of questions already being asked about your business, which until you actually open up your business, you won't know where they are. You can see here that they've got menu links, they've got reservation links, they've also got their health and safety attributes. So you can see here, these are the ones, and they actually turn up into an overlay like this with some icons. So really quite nice the way that Google's done that. And it also will show up on your page here like this. So if you don't see this health and safety messaging like this, it's because you haven't answered those attributes for your particular location. So that's just an example. The other thing I was just going to show you, so we talked about the justifications. The other thing, just the best way to search is go and type in what you are and where you are. That's probably the best one. And you'll see different searches and different things that turn up in the search based on what you're searching for. So if you see here, best cafe in DY, you'll notice now that I've got no one advertising. So no one's running any ads, whereas the accountant example, there was like 4 ads above. And you can see here, every single one of these has the word best coffee in the reviews. So what you get people to leave in your reviews is also very important as to whether you turn up in these searches. Because if I've got best coffee, best coffee, best coffee in my reviews, and I'm trying to get in as a coffee shop, that's a really good way. But if I was targeting this one, I'd probably suggest that these coffee shops may not be actively using Google posts, and they can jump all over that as an option. Yeah, you can't see, they've done a couple, they've done one here. We do catering. I don't know this business, I should say. But, not very high quality and probably need to be a little bit more, when it comes to that, whatever they're sharing on their Facebook is probably better quality than what's happening with this. You notice on this one also, there's this big blue button here, order takeaway. This is Google's integration with order food. So you may not have seen this, but you can actually use this to order pickup and delivery via a couple of different partners. So Hey is one of them, Ritual's another one. So if you're in the cafe space or food space, you can enable ordering ahead with Google. If you log into your Google My Business account, you'll see food ordering, and you can put that in there. If you've got your own food ordering, you can actually put your own links, and you can put a little star beside it that says that's your preferred method. So by starring it, if the customer comes in and you've got Hit Cafe, and you've got Deliveroo, and you've got Uber Eats, you've got a few other ones, you can actually star your own website if that's the lowest commission that you pay. You can star that as your preferred method of someone placing an order. So you can do that inside the Google My Business interface. So that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to show you. The other thing was, I know that there's a couple of travel businesses on the call today. So I just wanted to show you what Google Travel looks like and how it actually looks. So this is google.com/travel. Effectively, this is, and you can see I'm actually going to the Blue Mountains this weekend. So it's picked that up, and it's come in here to pick up my place where I'm staying. It's also given me some COVID advisory. It's also going to tell me some ideas about what I should do, all powered by Google My Business. And it's even going to tell me things like the best coffee shops to go see, some tours that I should be taking. So it's a really, really good way of being able to do that. So if you're, and if we just typed in Manly, New South Wales, or Manly, Australia. There we go. So what it's going to show me now is that this is the top sites based on traveler visits and local insights for Manly. So you can see here, this is an example of some basic ones. But if you go and have a look at like what they've done with, say, Byron Bay, you'll actually get not only top insights, but you'll also get, top coffee shops, things to do, all those different things fall underneath this explore. So if you did want to go and have a look at some of those, go and have a look and see all of this that's available, but it's all powered by Google My Business. So really, really important if you're in this space. I might stop the sharing there and just see if there's any questions, Courtney.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Andrew, for sharing all your tips and insights with us this morning. We did have a couple of questions come through throughout the presentation. So Neva had, is it possible for you to please physically demonstrate how to amend the opening hours on your Google My Business? You may be able to do a little demonstration of how they can change that.
Yeah, definitely. So you can change it a few different ways. So let's just say, for instance, if I open up our listing here. So when you log into yours, this is the interface that you should see. So when you go down to your info settings here, you can change your hours. So this is where you update a lot of the information about your business. So the hours can be edited here inside the Google My Business interface, where you can set your different hours. So when you're open, You can also have split hours. So if you're a restaurant and you open, say, from like 9 till 12 for breakfast and something else, you can have split hours as well. Most recently, you'll notice that there's a new more hours where you can specify things like when you do delivery and when you have drive-through, when you have hours for the elderly. So a lot of the supermarket chains that we work with have like a specific time for elderly people to come to the shopping center. So that's there. If you maybe do takeaway longer than your seated areas, so you can see all of those different ones. And we've just got access, which is just a general one to say that, you can access our business between those hours. So that's how you can change it inside the GMB interface.
Okay, perfect. And is that also the same for the address? Say if a business moves or they change their address, you can just physically change it in there as well?
Yeah, so you change your address here and then just drag the pin around to wherever you are. So you want to put that, make sure that like zoom right in and make sure you get it right into the correct spot. Like for instance, this is our address here. And maybe if 37 Pitt Street was there, you want to make sure that you put that pin right there. So if someone's getting walking directions or driving directions, they can get the right spot to where you are. Because sometimes when you put in your address, it doesn't actually, find the exact right spot, especially if the entrance to your business is on the left or right or, things like that. So you can change that in there. You can also specify a service area. So if you're a service area business, like a plumber or something like that, who may not actually have their, they don't want people turning up to their house, you can specify a service area, which means that you can say, hey, my office is in DY, my house is in DY, is my home sort of pin, but I service, up to Palm Beach, down to Manly, you can set that as your service area. And what will happen then is when you change it to being a service area business, it will actually hide your address and it will just show the suburb, state, and postcode. So it will show like DY, New South Wales, whatever DY's postcode is, and it will say services, Palm Beach, Avalon, all those different things. So if you're a service area business, you can do that. The special hours, which is what I was saying around the public holiday, you can come into here and let's say, for instance, I think it's the Monday, the 14th is the public holiday in New South Wales. So you go 14th of June, and I'm actually going to be closed all day, and you press apply. So it's a really easy way to be able to do that. And you can specify, you can specify this right into advance, so like say, for instance, if you're closed for Christmas Day, you can mark it as closed. You can add in all your clothes all the way for the rest of the year and just do it once a year. Really, really easy way to be able to do it. The other one I was going to say that we talked about was when you opened. So you can see here, this is when we opened, February 2014. So inside the search results, it will actually say has been in business for 8 years, So make sure that you put that date in whenever you opened. A lot of people don't put that in.
Okay, perfect. Another one from Neva. So are you able maybe to give any tips on how do you create a Google post?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, look, we've got some articles about the best ways and things like that on our blog that you could go check out. I think we've got 4 or 5 articles on there, but, the main thing would be just promoting your products and services, so choose whatever products and services you're promoting. So if you go and have a look at our Google post here, you can see here we've got sort of big creative there with a call to action and links out to our blog. One thing you'll notice is that the numbers are not going to be massive in terms of there, but you're not doing it for these reasons. Like you might not even see many people clicking on it. The primary focus of these is just people to see them and read them. They may not actually click on your button. So you can see here, you go, 47 views and 3 clicks for this particular post. You might go, oh, that's really low. But the thing is, a lot more people would have actually seen it on your Google My Business profile, which might be seen thousands of times. So this is an example of a blog article about Google Posts. So go and find how you can create it. So you can create 4 different types of blog post of Google Posts here. So you can create a COVID update. So like this one here. So you can see the lockdown. You can see an offer. So if you have an offer, you can come in here and choose a creative, put in your offer. It might be like 25% off end of financial year. You can have a start and end date. And if you need to like quote a coupon code or link to terms of service or anything like that, you can put all those in there. They're very good. What's new is just a general update. So you can pick a photo, you can write in your post here, and you can choose your buttons. So whether that be book now, order online, buy, sign up. But it would depend on what type of business you are, Neva, sort of my suggestion of what you should do. But broadly speaking, do a Google post for every product and service that you have in your business. That would be my suggestion, and post regularly so you get the carousel. And they used to go away after 7 days, but they now remain there permanently. So you don't have to like keep posting because they're disappearing. Once you post, they'll be there, and they turn into a really nice carousel at the bottom of your Google My Business listing. So they'll stay there forever. You can see the big posts here like this. And they also stay down the bottom in some cases. If you do a COVID post like this, you get a really big COVID-19 business updates. So if you're doing anything like for all the Melbourne-based businesses, it's really, really big. Like that's a COVID post type. We did it for demonstration purposes, but you can see here really, really big like that. And if I just bring up an example of another business, you can see here, you see this? That's what happens. So it's really visible. Google's trying to make it really prominent. So if you were trying to go and do that, and you can see in this case, LJ Hooker actually did like quite a detailed update with like auctions are still running, open homes are temporarily closed. This is what's happening. This is just really great customer service. It's like, it's really clear as to what you can and can't do with them, due to the restrictions.
Okay, great. So Laura had a question. So how do you get businesses to appear on the Google travel listing, for example, coffee shops, rather than just outdoor free attractions?
Yeah, it's a great question. So they're sort of going through different, and we're still trying to work out how this is like, that's our job. Our job is to try and work out how you get into these things to do. So it looks like, one of the things that you could do is, let's just go, I'll show you what Melbourne looks like. So the CBD of Melbourne probably has the most complete one. So you can see here reasons to visit Melbourne. You've got all of these different types of things, right? So let's just say we go to coffee culture, and we're having a look at these coffee culture. This is a curated list of coffee shops, right? So if you have a look here, where to go, it says underneath here, it says based on traveler visits and local insights, right? The local insights part is when you actually have a review left on your business, there's actually a thing called local guides. So if you open it up here, see Mel B, she's not a local guide, okay? But Samuel is a local guide. See this? So these local guides are sort of like Google's influencers, probably for a better word. So when you have a local guide leave you a review, it sort of like has a level of authority. This program actually goes right up to level 10, and it's indicated by these stars here. So you can see this is a local guide, level 6. And if you actually click on Samuel's page, you can see all of the reviews that he's left as a local guide. So these are all the different ones he's left all across the country. So when someone comes into your location, you can get those local guides. We believe what's influencing whether you show up in this list or not is how many local guides have reviewed you, and also how many people have physically visited your location. In combination of those two things is to whether you actually show up in these listings. So my suggestion would be encourage a lot of reviews, because chances are they will be local guides, and also make sure you're getting a lot of people coming to your location, which is a flow and effect from just making sure you're getting into the map a lot more. But yeah, we'll keep following our blog, because we have a lot of travel clients, and we're still trying to work this out. This actually was launched in the middle of COVID. So they launched this in March or April. But as you can see, flights is growing massively. So you can book flights. So if anyone uses Skyscanner, this is sort of their take on Skyscanner. If anyone uses Trivago and Expedia, this is sort of their take on that. If anyone uses Airbnb and all that sort of stuff, well, this is Airbnb. And there's even another one which is coming, which is packages, which is sort of their take on luxury escapes and all those types of things. So realistically, if you're in the travel vertical, you need to be watching this really, really closely, because it's a one-stop shop for everything you need for travel. They're very, very important. And also, if you're a travel person, I mean, I'm doing a lot of staycations at the moment, traveling around New South Wales. It's actually really quite good, you know, in terms of, I've got a weekend coming up this weekend for my daughter's birthday. I can actually map everything out. So let's say, for instance, if I went in here and they suggested that we should go and check out the Three Sisters, which we probably will, I can open this up and I can add this to a list, and I can actually get a collection of everything I'm going to do. So if I'm, you know, like most people do, before I go, I can actually go in and map all these things out. And then I can put into a little collection, and I can start assigning days and stuff like that of when we're going to go to, you know, these lookouts and things like that. So these sort of following and saving is going to become really important. But if you have a look at, this is the name, this is the description, it's all being fed by Google My Business. So if your hours are up to date, it's going to show here. If your reviews are there, your descriptions, everything feeds in. So yeah, even these pictures, you know, so making sure all of those are really good.
Perfect. Okay. If you have any more final questions for Andrew and the DigitalMaas team, just pop them into the chat box as we are running close to 12. Also, does Google My Business have a mobile app that you can download to use onto your mobile instead of desktop?
Yeah, there is. There's a mobile app that you can use. I heavily suggest, if you're managing one location, that you get that. It's going to be the easiest way that you can get messages turned up. So I'll show you what this messages looks like. So let's say, for instance, if you just look at Woolworths here, if I just show you what it looks like on a mobile device, just quickly. So when you search for Woolworths on your mobile, you'll notice this chat icon here. That if I start chatting, I can't click on this because I'm on desktop, but if you want to have a look at it, go open up your local Woolworths. Every Woolworths has it. And you can chat directly to them. So you can say, hey, do you have this in stock? Do you have that? So if you think about, like I said, 87% of businesses prefer, 87% of customers prefer to message a business. If you're in the service industry, if you're in any of those businesses, much more important that you can chat to a business right now than anything else. You can set up a welcome message, so a message that goes back to people. You can even set up, I've seen some really interesting ones in it. The welcome message I saw was, hey, thanks for sending us a message. We'll get back to you shortly, but if you want to speak to us immediately, here's the phone number, you know? So, you know, giving them the option of messaging and calling. And then the good thing is that as you message back and forth with the person, it's inside the Google My Business, it's inside the Google Maps app. So what happens is they can actually go back and have a look at the messages. And just so you know, Apple has also launched Apple Messages, but it actually turns up inside iMessage with your brand inside iMessage. So it's probably going to be even bigger than what the Google one is, but both are really, really important. Definitely something you should be watching.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. It seems like we've gotten through all the questions that were in the chat box this morning. So thank you again for your great presentation, along with Max and Jay from DigitalMaas with their assistance in the chat box. So thank you again. So now I would like to welcome Deb from the Northern Beaches Council to say a few words before we wrap up the session.
Thanks, Courtney, and thank you, Andrew. That was very informative, and I'm glad we're recording that because there's a wealth of information there that I'm sure we're going to want to come back to and listen to in our own time. So just want to say a big shout out to Courtney and Jackie at Realise Business for putting together this digital solutions program. This really came about from feedback we got from businesses last year about what could we most do to help them to adjust to new conditions and, you know, improving their capacity around digital information and marketing was definitely one of the key things across our small business sector. So really want to thank Realise Business for coming back to us with a tailored program. So as we've mentioned, we've had 6 modules. We have recorded all of these. I've seen quite a few of the same people coming to a number of them, which is fantastic to see you coming back. But we will be putting all of these recordings up on our website, hopefully later this week, so that you can have a look at any of them that you haven't had a chance to review in your time. And we really want to continue this conversation around what we can do to continue to support you during this challenging time, and any additional support that we could provide. And I also encourage you to follow up with Realise Business if you want to take up any of that one-on-one support to help your business just now. So just want to say thanks to everyone for your time.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Deb. And again, thank you to the DigitalMaas team for the presentation today. So thank you, everyone. It's been great to be a part of the Digital Solutions program over the past month. We hope you found the sessions over the past month valuable and can take some learnings away to use within your business. So don't forget, you can still find Realise Business on LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram, and that's where you'll find out all the latest news as what's coming up. But like Deb mentioned, we will have the recordings available, and we will be sending out the thank you email that will include today's session. But thank you again. It's been great over the past month, and thank you for joining everyone today. We hope you have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Good one.